All right, it's time for the Backyard Gardens podcast fall seed giveaway. To enter, go to backyardgardenstv.com, enter your email address, and be sure to do that before August the 1st, 2021, when the giveaway closes. Good luck.
Well, one or two things is about to happen. Either I'm going to be full or I'm going to be hungry as hell. But today, on the Backyard Gardens podcast mini-sode, we're going to talk about Batavia and I's new challenge, eating out of our garden for 1 month, only for lunch.
To have a good harvest, one must plant good seeds and must also use the right kind of fertilizer. The carrots have grown large and firm. How good they will taste.
Welcome to the Backyard Gardens podcast, where we talk about all things gardening and give the information out for you to be successful in your garden, whether it's your first or your last. We are your hosts, Ben, the backyard gardener, and
Batavia, the front yard gardener.
one in the country,
One in the city.
Now get ready as we dig deep into this wonderful world of gardening as we learn to grow and grow for change. Before we get started, if you want to know how we get our gardens to grow so good, what we use, check the link below, the Amazon list. Help support the podcast, no extra cost to you. Everything in there has been tested and used by us. Thank you very much. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be hungry or not, but what do you think?
I'm eating all of the things in the month of July in preparation. Like I'm still, what is it? Way back into the old days, we used to store food in our, what is it? Is it our appendix that we don't use anymore? Which one is it?
I don't know. All I know is we're on a mini-sode. We ain't got time for you to stutter through this conversation.
Yeah. Well. I'm eating all of the things in preparation of not having as many things to eat, but still feeling like I have nutritious lunches all throughout August. How's that?
Yeah.
Is that succinct enough?
That's good. That's good. I'll take it. Yeah, so in case you don't know, well, first off, if you don't know, you should be listening to the podcast more often. But Batavia and I are doing a challenge where we're going to eat lunches out of our gardens for 1 month, which is the month of August. They can be grown, previously canned, or foraged out of our yards or garden, whatever.
Preserved from our gardens.
Preserved. So that's the challenge. And I'm at an advantage because I have chickens, so I have eggs.
Agreed.
So my cholesterol could very well be very high at the end of the month, but my goal is not to live off of eggs. So
yeah, I think that it is from anyone's garden, mind you, right? So if you want to ship me things, you can do that.
no, hold
Ben.
up. No, hell no. You can't be asking people to ship you because everybody loves you more, so you'll get more food. That's bullshit. No way.
I've been working all of my life for this moment.
You have not.
I can call in the markers for all of the things that I've done.
Easy,
with
Pinocchio.
People. Yeah, right. I know, but in all seriousness, I don't know that I'm going to have anything to barter. But I absolutely, if I have an opportunity, something didn't make it in my garden. I mean, 31 lunches is what we're talking about. And I'm going to want some variety. So I do plan on swapping some foods and or having people give me things from their garden. It just has to be from a garden, right?
So yes, it does have to be from a garden and you can't buy it. And we have figured out a metric in order to see who was the most successful. And so we're going to take, we're going to take a weight at the beginning and at the end. And we're going to private. Nobody's announcing their weight. So it's all good. You know, I'm a little shy about my weight too. So we're good. And whoever at the end has not lost the most weight wins. I don't know what they win, but we win something. But I have a caveat. I'm currently on a weight loss journey. Okay. And so I have a set amount to lose a month, so I get to take that off the top because I can't be going backwards.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
all right. Right.
And so that means that I'm not cameling up either. I'm not trying to eat as much as I can beforehand. So I'm like, I'm good.
So rewind that, folks, because I'm going to do that so I can track that. So basically, this is about, you don't want to end up losing a bunch of weight because you're starving yourself because you really don't have anything to eat from the garden, right? Like that's a part of the winning, that you're eating nutritious meals and, that you're enjoying all of the fluff that I've been putting on for the last 10 years. Like that's winning for me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. We've talked about this at least on one episode in July, but we wanted to dedicate this mini-sode specifically for this challenge, right? So we're like 11 days out, dude. I was looking at the calendar. I'm like, the first day of it is a Sunday. I'm not sure why that matters, but it's like, okay, all right, it's gonna be go time.
So I predict that we will both lose weight for 2 reasons. Okay. So one, you're not going to be eating like any carbs or anything like that. So you're not going to be you're going to be eating less fat. And the goal is not to be like, well, I'm not going to have a lot for lunch, so let me eat more for breakfast, let me eat more for dinner. And this is really a test to see like how our gardens have served us. How are we really, in tune to what our needs are? Because I have a feeling walking away from this, one of us might change how they grow food after this. Mm-hmm. It may be a little eye-opening, and you may be like, you know what, maybe I want something a little different.
It's either going to affirm the way that one or both of us are growing food, or it's going to lead to a change. So I think it's a win-win. I do want to note that if we're talking about dime size, if I have potatoes ready, I'm going to be eating some carbs. I'm going to have some potatoes like 88 ways. But yeah, I mean, I think that we walked around this for probably more than a year now. We've been talking about like what this could look like for us. And we recently had an episode about, diversity in your garden, right? Taking steps.
Which is kind of where that's spurred from. Not sparred. It's not fighting.
Yeah. So I think that the idea of a diverse garden has become even more important. And then I think also there's a bit of like not being wasteful. I don't know if we've talked about this angle of it, right? So we want to make sure that we're using what we're growing and that it's meaningful to, us individually and our families.
Yeah. And I mean, when we first started this, we had conversations around, hey, let's make this really big and get every single person involved that we can and make a really big deal out of it. And we kind of came back to reality and we were like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't do that. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should just, and this is a very private and personal thing, and you're welcome to join us. Mm-hmm. Anybody listening, please, if you feel so inclined, do 1 a week, mm-hmm. do 7, do, whatever you want to do. But, it's really important that we just try, you get in tune with your garden and how it is. And I'm going to say, if you're going to do it, tag 31 lunches on Instagram, hashtag 31 lunches. And then I just checked, there's nothing. So nobody cares about that. But then we can see it and, we'll share it on our Instagram. I don't care. I mean, it's a cool test. Mm-hmm, and it's not designed to be a test of like mental fortitude and intestinal toughness, about how hungry can we be. And that's not it.
No, so, I think it also, it's pushing me personally because I do a lot of add-ons with my garden, meaning I make a dish and I'm adding something from the garden to it. And some meals have been like fully garden focused, but it's probably like a salad, You're raising your hand?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So Batavia's an asshole.
This is true.
And she sends me a text and she goes, hashtag BYG lunches is better. She's right. So use that instead.
Yeah.
So hashtag BYG lunches. That will get us through. And you can always default to hashtag BYG podcast too, but we'll try and follow that, both of them, and see. It was just, I saw the text coming. I was like, oh Lord, I did something wrong.
But no, I think that the idea of, so diversity, nutrition, right? Sustainability, right? These are descriptors that we want our gardens, a part of what we want our gardens to be. And this is not the test of all tests, but it's a damn good test to see how close we are to hitting all those marks.
Yeah, I don't have a battery in my light, so it's like romantic as hell in my studio here. I can't see. Okay, time. Okay, we're good. I was going to ask you, what do you envision eating during this time? Like, seriously, now we're getting pretty close, so you should have a good idea of what's going to be coming in.
Well,
a lot of y'all asked, how can you help support the Backyard Gardens podcast? Well, we have been busy, and we have created a t-shirt line just for the gardener.
To visit our shop, go to the link in the show notes and check out the t-shirts and other goodies we have.
Now, these are super special t-shirts designed just for the gardener, so enjoy. Thank you for supporting the Backyard Gardens podcast, and we'll see you guys after the harvest.
You know what? There's one piece of me that is like the ever planner. And so I kind of want a list of all of the meals. But there's also the small, very small piece of me that's kind of like, I'm going to play a little bit of this by ear.
No,
right?
no, I'm talking about what vegetables will you have?
Oh, okay. So I'll have, it's going to be hard for me because we're just a couple of weeks away and there's not a lot of summer veggies that I actually have that are ready to harvest. So the first half is probably, I think the last time we talked about it, and it was going to be the struggle is the second half of the month. I think the first half of the month is going to be a struggle for me. So I'll absolutely have things like leafy greens, like, collards. I'll have probably 1 or 2 heads of cabbage, but it's red cabbage, not white cabbage, which, it's a little bit limiting, but we're going to make it do what it do. I'll for sure have cucumbers. I'll have squash if I can outchase the little bastard. I'll have tomatoes by then. There may not be boxes of tomatoes like I did last year, but I'll definitely have tomatoes. What else? Did I say bush beans? I expect to have those.
You didn't say them, but...
I'm going to have a couple of root vegetables, not many, right? So, this is going to take some... I may need to start making a list. This is going to take some creativity, if you will. Oh, I'll for sure have okra. I'll have okra coming out the wazoo.
Dude, my okra sucks this year.
Literally,
and I'm,
get it? Okay,
yeah. My okra is not doing well this year, and it's pissing me off. But I'm going to have tomatoes, cucumbers, green beans, eggplants, peppers, hot peppers, ground cherries, and I might have desi squash. And so the key behind that is I have no idea what it tastes like, but I might be eating the hell out of it. So I'll definitely have some eggs, and I'll have some basil, and I'll have some sage and oregano and thyme. I'll have some grass if I need it. So I'll eat some of my grass. And carrots. I'll have carrots. So... it's very limiting, you know what I mean? And maybe I'll have some mushrooms, maybe, and I'll have eggs. So, there's going to be omelets and stuff in my future, but it's interesting. And so the problem I have, though, is like August can be a really tough time. And like I'm fighting back pests every day now. And so that being said, like I need to stay on top of it because I can't lose a crop right now because my ass is going to be hungry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I do also want to note that in my cabinet, I still have, believe it or not, and baby, I've been saving these. I have some sweet potatoes from last year. I had a pretty poor man's sweet potato harvest, but I had sweet potatoes, and I still have some that are going to make some lunges. We're probably at this point around 75, 80 days from my earliest planted potatoes. So we're going to be right in the sweet spot for those. We'll see what comes of them. This is actually the nervousness around root vegetables, right? So there isn't a lot to waste. Let me say that. I have, like you mentioned, peppers. I have peppers that were still, that were canned. You know what the best part though is? I have tomato sauce that was canned from last year. So this is like not necessarily a full circle moment, but it absolutely brings it all together when it comes to I think it's probably going to be this next episode, our Longhorn episode coming up. A part of the garden for me is now beyond, May through September or October. Right. Yep. So to be here and say, well, we thought we were going to do this challenge this year. We didn't know for sure, but we did know that, it was important for both of us to preserve food. I'm getting the Sandman is coming and dancing around. I'm starting to get all up into the episode. Forgot this is a mini.
You get all up into it.
Scene.
So look, here's the deal, everybody. Feel free to try it with us. Our rules are 31 days of lunches in the month from August 1st to August 31st from your garden or from your yard, and you could have preserved it. And we are also saying that you can have condiments with it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But you cannot add bread and pasta and all that stuff unless you grow wheat.
Yeah, you can do condiments and you can do seasonings, from your cabinet.
And anything from the previous year that was preserved, good on you because you were ahead. And if you come back Thursday, you're going to hear us talking about why we love to preserve. And we're going to be talking about this again. Holla.
See ya.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you want to see what we're up to or just stay up to date on all the announcements regarding the show or anything gardening, then you can follow us on Instagram at Backyard Gardens TV.
We love seeing what you guys are doing, so use hashtag BYG Podcast in your posts, and we'll be sharing your gardens with the Backyard Gardens community.
And check us out on YouTube at Backyard Gardens, where we will post this show, all of our other shows, clips, and then also some gardening tips and just gardening entertainment. And you can see us at our website at backyardgardenstv.com. But that's it for today's show. So help us as we learn to grow and grow for change. And until next time, we'll catch you guys later. We'll call this one a wrap.
Now you know why people feel like celebrating at harvest time.
All over the world, people have feasting and good times when the crops have been gathered in.